A confederacy of rogue states is an article linked up on Mark13News.com for March 17th, 2023. And as you can see in the article, in the overexcited language of state-run propagandists, the West is beginning to tremble at the emergence of a fearsome new Russo-Iranian axis that promises to multiply their joint strengths and ruthlessly exploit weaknesses in the liberal democratic order, which is the same thing as the unipolar world order as opposed to the multipolar world order the Kenites are trying to talk into existence as the Ezekiel 38 Confederacy continues to formulate, headed by Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, which is most likely Moscow and Tobol. So in other words, Russia, which is in the land of Edom, which means red, with Iran being Persia in Ezekiel 38, but really it's the Kenites on the multipolar end of the globalist spectrum as nation continues to rise against nation, meaning the Kenite nation, symbolized by the he-goat in Daniel chapter 8, which is at this time split into two warring factions, and as you can see in Daniel 11:14, the robbers of thy people shall exalt themselves to establish the vision, meaning the vision of a one-world government, but they shall fall, and this word translated here as fall in this case means to fail, because there will be no new world order as it's called until the woe of the fifth trumpet, when Satan and his angels get cast to earth. That's when the Ezekiel 38 Confederacy will become the bear of Daniel chapter 7, and the he-goat of Daniel chapter 8 will become the leopard, which is symbolic of the Kenites and their four hidden dynasties providing the infrastructure of the so-called New World Order. There's also a ram written of in Daniel chapter 8 having two horns, which are symbolic of Ephraim, which is the United Kingdom, including the British Commonwealth, and Manasseh, which is the United States. Those horns having already been broken geopolitically by the world wars, with 1945 being when the great horn of the he-goat came into being, which is in my opinion the United Nations. And as you can also see linked up on Mark13News.com, this time for March 16th, 2023, AUKUS expansion plans cause concern in Moscow. AUKUS being a security pact between Australia, which is part of the British Commonwealth, the United Kingdom, and the United States, and it's at the woe of the fifth trumpet that the ram of Daniel chapter 8 will become the lion of Daniel chapter 7, along with Germany, which is Judah, geopolitically speaking, and by that time Germany will have most likely filled in the post-Brexit power vacuum, becoming the leader of Europe. So then after the deadly wound to the so-called New World Order, when Satan appears as the Antichrist at the woe of the sixth trumpet, the three horns that will be plucked up by the roots at that time, written of in Daniel chapter 7 verse 8, are symbolic of Ephraim, which again is the United Kingdom, plus the British Commonwealth, Judah, which is Germany, including Europe, and Manasseh, which is the United States. In other words, the Christian nations, but once most Christians begin worshiping Satan instead of Christ, which is what Antichrist means, those three horns will be plucked up by the roots, because they're no longer Christian nations if they become part of Satan's one world religious system, which is what the one world political system will become at that time, at the beginning of the final 2.5 months of the 5-month-long hour of temptation, the 70 evenings, which are what the 70 years in captivity to the Babylon of old were a type of.